Hello, vinyl freaks. It's the Danish record hunter here, and today's subject it's gonna be a producer and engineer called Mike F. Andreasen. So, while producing and engineering a couple albums in the late 70s in Denmark, he also released a solo album, and we're gonna be talking about that one. It's called The First Mike. Before we start talking about the album, I want to tell you a little bit about what Mike he was engineering and producing. It was not a lot, but the few things he did was very awesome, especially this one, Æg blå som altid. He didn't produce the album, he was the engineer. Æg was actually a band that started in the late 60s in Denmark, and it was like a progressive rock. This one is also from 1977, so he was busy this year in his studio. He was actually working in ROC Studios in Amager, which is in Copenhagen, where he produced Æg blå som altid, but also this one, his solo album. This is Nis Piss Band 2, their second album, and this one is some, freaky, loony, kind of funky jazz rock. I really like this record as well. It's very cool, and it's not an album that most Danish prog rock fans they talk about. It's a little bit overlooked, I think, maybe even underrated. So the last thing that I have in my collection that he also had a hand in making is a cab. Open Air. It's the second album. The first one is folk rock. This one I would say is more like West Coast music. And he was engineering this one. To be honest, I never really got into this one. I think it's okay, but Mike, he engineered it, so that's why I bought it in the first place. So maybe this one will grow on me in the future. Let me tell you about his solo album. He also, of course, produced this in ROC Studios in Amager. He had a bunch of session musicians helping him. Actually, most of them coming from Nis Piss Band and Æg. Nis P. Jørgensen, he appears on the album. He was playing the flute and saxophone. The guitarist of Æg, Finn Olafsson, he co-produced the album. And also he plays the acoustic guitar on a track on the album. And the drummer called Gert Smedegaard, his big brother is Carsten Smedegaard, and he is one of the best drummers in Danish rock. He played in Rainbow Band, Midnight Sun, the Baronets, and the Dårskabens Hus. His little brother here, Gert Smedegaard, he is very good as well. I really like his drumming, and he appears on the whole album. Now we've come to the most important person in developing this album, and it's Mike himself. Because not only was he a great producer and engineer, I really liked the few albums that he was working on at the time, but he was also, an excellent guitarist. His playing, I don't know how I can compare him. It's very, this psychedelic stuff. This guy has been listening to his Jimi Hendrix, so a very overlooked guitarist in Danish rock music. Also, his vocals are pretty good too. He's a powerhouse musician from listening to this album. I actually think that his vocals, they remind me of Eric Bloom from Blue Oyster Cult. He does some couple things with his voice that is actually, resembling Bloom. So to talk about the album, it's like spacey, psychedelic rock from the late 70s. There's a couple, more rocking commercial songs on the album, but as a whole, I would consider this like psychedelic music. On Discogs it says that it's prog rock. I wouldn't exactly go that far to call it, prog rock. Of course it has its prog rock leanings, but it's a lot more, psychedelic. Sometimes I even think that I'm listening to a space rock album when I'm spinning this, but it's not. The lyrical content is not really about, cosmic journeys or anything like that. It's pretty down to earth lyrically. Not that this album is discussed a lot here in Denmark, but the few times I've seen discussion on the internet in Danish rock groups, there's one track from this album that is actually mentioned, and it's a cover by Jimi Hendrix, and we're talking about manic depression. So let's listen a little bit to that.
Fingers, manic depression, catching my soul. All the woman so willing, the sweet tossing thing. You know you make love, you break love, it's all the same. Music, sweet music, wish I could caress.
Man, I really like this version of the Hendrix song. This one doesn't sound anything like the original one. It's having a funky power trio approach. Also, there is a heavy middle section to the song that is I really like. So I will just show you a little bit of that. Another one of my favorite tunes on the album, it's called Cry Cry Part 1 and 2. And let's have a little listen to that. So as you can hear, this is kind of like very catchy. It's like a pop song, but the music, it's like psychedelic rock, and I really like this track and how it slows down in the middle, and you can hear some terrific playing by Mike. He was really showing what a beast he was playing the Stratocaster. I really like this, and let me show you that. The album also has a different side to it, which is not that psychedelic at all. It's more like kind of party rock tunes, and I'm talking about Please Me, Tease Me, that's one of them, which has Nis P. Jansen, this dude here, playing the saxophone. And I really think that especially this song could have really, been a hit if released maybe earlier in the 70s and not in Denmark. I really think this one is catchy too, and I love when Mike, he's singing. I play my Rolling Stone records every night. I will just show you a little bit of the song.
You know I play my Rolling Stone records every day, and the way my baby takes it makes my heart beat like a caffeine man.
You see, it's completely different, and also, you will hear a different side to this musician. Like, he didn't take himself all too seriously all the time, and that you can also hear in another one of those like more energetic, party kind of songs. And I'm talking about the one that is called Gotta Get Away.
You keep complaining about the things I do. You even haggle when I bring some flowers to you.
this guy wasn't without his humor. That's also noticeable on this kind of, I don't know if it sounds like kind of a very psychedelic and stoned out parody on reggae music, and that you can hear on Who. It ends this album with this slow and stoned out reggae beat with, you know, some acid drenched guitar work, and you know, you will have Mike kind of trying to sound like a Jamaican singer, you know, with this accent, and you know, it is kind of a fun track, but I really like this one for being very psychedelic, and the guitar work is just like mwah. So let's have a little listen to that.
Just got to understand.
If this guy is still alive. So I'm not talking to you, my international audience. I'm talking to whoever old Danish bastard who is watching my video. If you know this guy, please show my video to him. I want him to see that he still has people that appreciates his music, and that coming from an almost 29-year-old guy, you know, I really think his music is awesome, and I don't think it should ever be forgotten about. I have so many questions to him, like what did he do before he started producing and engineering albums, before he did this, you know. You can hear that he's a really, you know, a gifted guitarist, and he has a gifted voice too. I don't know if he was playing in any bands before, you know, and earlier in his career, if it was in any bands, probably not something that ever was released. I don't know what he did afterwards. Did he do a second mic? That would be awesome, and maybe it was never released. So I have so many questions. So that's the mystery of this whole album, and I just want people to love this just as I do. And also, it's very cheap. So if you find it in the internet, you know, I can only say to you, buy it. You will not be disappointed. You know, it's a great record from a time in Denmark when not a lot of musicians was doing music like this, probably in the underground. But releasing an album like this in 1977, that was like a rarity in Denmark. So please subscribe, like my video if you like my content, and also I will upload more albums and more videos of me talking about them and stuff from my collection that is all Danish. So peace out and take care.